Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, January 13th. You know what that means. It's time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter, Patreon, all of that good jazz. Without further ado, let's get into the news as we are covering the week of January 6th. New Japan's Chris Charleston has been suspended for his controversial remarks about AEW during Wrestle Dynasty. There's a way to be a heel, a way to drive the nail in without being a douche, and that's what he was being, and it just didn't work. You can't go at a partner, especially your best partner, like that when on commentary. TNA has locked up multiple stars. Recently they had a lot of people leave, but they had locked up a few people. They locked in their current Knockouts champion, Masha Slamovich. They locked in Ash by Elegance and John Schuyler of the Good Hands. Lastly, their current world champion, Nick Nemeth, have all re-signed with the company. This is nothing more than great news. Triple H has stated that the SmackDown to 3 hours will be a temporary move, as we'll be moving back to 2 hours come this June. We'll see how the 3 hour show goes. It feels weird, but we'll just see how it works out. NXT Wednesday, we have a date and a location. It will be going down in Washington DC on February 15th. It's been the Valentine's Day pay-per-view for NXT. Tickets will go on sale, last week. Sheamus confirmed he has signed a new 5-year deal with the WWE. He said he's going to ride this until the wheels fall off. Hopefully within that 5-year span, he will become Intercontinental Champion. That is the one championship that has been eluding him. Jojo Offerman could be sticking around with AEW. As you know, recently she announced a dark match on, I believe, Ring of Honor about a week ago, and she did a very, very great job. Before she became a mother, she was ring announcer for the WWE. We'll see how things go, but it looks like she might be sticking around. Apparently, we hear those rumors all the time, but Malachi Black might be leaving AEW. You've been watching the show. Both Brody, Giulia, and Buddy have been getting support about riding solo, and we hear these things about Malachi Black all the time, so we will see what's going on. Right now, he is not expected back with AEW. Marie Kanellis' contract is expiring soon. She signed an extension that ends this January. We will see what happens with her. She went through her health issues, but I think she's a tremendous talent and can very much add a lot to whatever company she is with, but I kind of expect her to stay where her husband is at. The Von Erichs have officially signed with AEW. Ross and Marshall Von Erich are now all elite. They let this be known on the Claw Pod series. Good news, and Darby Allin will be on a hiatus, taking a sabbatical as he'll be climbing Mount Everest. So if he's going to be gone for a few months, he will not be the one to take the championship from John Moxley. On the injury side of things, Tommy Dreamer is sidelined with a torn meniscus and strained PCL. He's currently not wrestling. He's the head of creative for TNA, so he'll be out for a good long while. Jake the Snake Roberts reveals he has a really bad health diagnosis after a hospital stay. He already has COPD. He got pneumonia at one point. He had more health issues. He had blood in his urine. It was just a bunch of things, but it sounds like he's in better spirits and doing well. And lastly, Marshall Von Erich has been cleared for an in-ring return after recovering from his pec tear. And like we just said, he is all elite. But that is the news. We shall be right back with the week in review. Let's get into the week in review. Monday Night Raw. This was the Netflix debut. It was it gets a thumbs down. It just does. I get it, the pomp, the circumstance. Yay, Raw's on Netflix, but good Lord. So much talking. The show was 3 hours, and we got 4 matches in 3 hours. Let's go through the show real quick. The show opened up with Rock and Triple H talking, welcoming us to Netflix, whatever. Roman won Tribal Combat after everybody got involved, because everybody always gets involved. Cena will be in the Royal Rumble. He was great here. This is probably the highlight of the entire show. Rhea beat Liv to win the world championship, and she got a passing of the torch from The Undertaker. Chad Gable will face a luchador next week tonight, which will end up being Penta. Hulk Hogan came out and got booed heavily. Drew lost to Jey Uso after Jey feigned defeat and got him with a roll up, and CM Punk beat Seth Rollins. That was the show. Yeah, nothing happened. This is your debut on Netflix, and I get you got to get the casual crowd in, but you're a world champion, you didn't have a match. You got a video package. You're Intercontinental Champion. Your tag team champions were in the crowd. You had a women's IC title final that you didn't have on the show. You advertised a New Day match, which didn't happen. Two of your biggest acts are the New Day and the Wyatts, and you did not put them in front of that crowd. It was in my opinion, Monday Night Raw's Netflix debut was an abject failure. It was just a failure. Dynamite, a much better show. A challenger arises for Jon Moxley. This show gets a thumbs up. Will Ospreay defeated Buddy Matthews in a fantastic match. After the match, Ospreay tells Buddy that he and Brody don't need Malachi, that they can go this alone, that they can be tag team champions, that they can be single champions, that hey, Ospreay will support Buddy. They can be partners. Like, he will be in his corner and has his support. Keep an eye on that. The Hurt Syndicate invaded the VIP. Private Party were trying to do a celebration. And then Bobby Lashley ended up defeating Mike Briscoe. Private Party made the save after the match. It looks like the Hurt Syndicate are coming for the tag team championships. Powerhouse Hobbs won a gauntlet battle road to become the number one contender to face Jon Moxley at Maximum Carnage. Ricochet swerved everybody. So the opening number 1 was Jay White. Number 2 was, I think, Hangman. And number 3 was Yuta. And Hangman got the better of everybody, right? So he's in the ring by himself, and all you hear is Swerve's music, and Hangman's ready, because you know, Swerve Hangman. And then you hear the ha-ha! And it switches to Ricochet, and Ricochet comes out. This heel turn is working beautifully for him. Jeff Jarrett was also in the Casino Gauntlet, and he lost. He was being interviewed, and MJF interrupt. MJF was great here and made him an offer to help get on top and wants that first title shot, and Jeff Jarrett declined that offer. We have not heard from Darby Allin. He is dead. Sorry. Cope isn't afraid of Mox, and the Death Riders try to attack Cope until Hobbs made the save. We're going to get Hot Girls Grap with Mariah and Harley Cameron on Collision. Harley Cameron's just amazing, everybody. Kris Statlander defeated Willow Nightingale. Kris Statlander turned on the number 1 spot, and you guessed it, the first ever women's Casino Gauntlet. This is going to be great. The winner of that match will get a title shot at, I believe, AEW Grand Slam Australia. And in the main event segment, Kenny Omega returned, talked about his injury, his illness, and things are going to be different this time around. It's not about revenge. Until Don Callis comes out, and Omega just went straight for him. The family ended up saving Callis until Will Ospreay made the save. This was a good show. Over on Impact, Genesis is really coming together. This show gets a fist. Eric Young, Steve Macklin, and Jonathan Gresham defeated the System. After the match, Gresham got Pillmanized from the chair to the turnbuckle, and Young and Macklin eventually ran the System off. So we'll see how long Gresham is going to be out. Savannah Evans made a challenge and injured Desire Brookside. Says, you injured me, but there's someone else you got some beef with, and she introduced Lei Ying Lee, who will be her opponent, and Lei Ying Lee won. Jordan Grace called out Tessa Blanchard. The Northern Army Gauntlet ended in a no contest as Josh Alexander attacked Santana. So we'll see where that goes from here. The Elegants will have a pre-championship celebration. This will be the first of its kind, as they will be facing Spitfire for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships at Genesis. Raven suggests to Rosemary to make her match against Masha at Clockwork Orange House a fun match. These can get out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. The Rascals ended defeating the Good Hands. Kaz gave Rhino a sarcastic pep talk. Eric Young and Steve Macklin, will hand out their own form of justice to the System. So justice going to the System. And First Class says, well, listen, we're going to go past you to go get the tag team titles. Moose is in the ring with Alicia Alvarez, and they talk about the X Division. And since he's the X Division champion, that's the best championship. He says he's going to get rid of the X Division championship belt and debut a new one at Genesis. We'll see what goes down here. This is how you use Moose, man. Moose has been great. Andrew Everett, a former Activision champion, doesn't like this and challenges Moose to a title match. Moose obviously wins. Sami Callihan with the team with PCL because apparently they just don't lose and they'll go for tag team gold. Jordan Grace and Tessa Blanchard fight until security breaks them up. In the main event, Joe Hendry and Rhino defeated the Nemeths. Good show. Good build for Genesis. Over on SmackDown, this was the second 3-hour show, and of course this show was also better than Raw. Gets a thumbs up. Paul Heyman says that Roman Reigns will be entering the Royal Rumble and lets Cody know that. KO comes out and is like, well, you did this to yourself, Cody. Roman's literally telling you he's coming for the championship. You did this, and it was on site. Cody attacked KO until they started fighting to the back. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga attacked Jimmy Uso until Cody made the save, and then Knight throws the bloodline out of the building. There was no Solo Sikoa here. Chelsea Green defended the United States Championship against Michin. Gets her first defense and wins. And then Piper Niven attacked Michin after the match. Piper Niven is down Chelsea Green's Secret Service security. It's beautiful. The tag teams, all of them important to matches, and Los Garza ends up defeating Pretty Deadly. Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight ends in a no contest after the new bloodline returned and attacked LA Knight. So I like how we are weaving these stories together. Jimmy Cody made the save, and Aldis made a tag match in the main event. The Motor City Machine Guns defeated A-Town Down Under, and the DIY in the back lives are Pretty Deadly, and Apollo Crews tells them the truth, like, yo, y'all getting played. We had a women's challenger parade interrupting Tiffany Stratton's celebration. First it was Nia, then it was Bayley, and then it was Bianca and Naomi. So Nick Aldis made a number of contender fatal 4-way match with Bayley winning. This was a fantastic match. Mello steps to Jimmy, and I'm hoping we get that feud going in the main event. The Bloodline ended up defeating Cody Rhodes and Jimmy after Cody left Jimmy hanging. Once KO showed up, they fight to the back through the crowd, through the audience, and then get put through a table. Over on Collision, Maximum Carnage is really starting to take shape. Colt defeated Big Bill. Chris Jericho was on commentary, and FTR made the save after the Learning Tree got involved. Hangman Page is truly unhinged and challenges Christopher Daniels to a Texas death match. So I think this might end up being Christopher Daniels' kind of like retirement match. This is going to go down on Maximum Carnage. I think Maximum Carnage Collision. Pac beat Commander. Claudio and Wheeler then go for a beatdown on Commander until the Outrunners come out and made the save. And then the Outrunners end up losing to Yuta and Claudio. Mariah May defeated Harley Cameron. Mariah May has just been great, but Harley Cameron is really the true star here. She has been absolutely fantastic. Brody King won Christopher Daniels ends up accepting a Hangman's challenge. Brody King won a squash match, and then Cody Cope steps up to him backstage and tells him and Giulia, like, yo, I respect you, and you guys have bright futures. I know what you all are about. You don't need Malachi Black, so now I really do think Malachi Black's leaving. Dan Garcia retained the TNT Championship over Katsuyori Shibata in an absolutely fantastic match. In the main event, Chris Jericho defeated Dax to retain the Ring of Honor World Championship, but then everybody that's involved with Maximum Carnage ended up brawling. The Learning Tree rated FTR runners, Hobbs. It was just a fight. And that's how we ended the show. Our matches of the week: from Dynamite, Will Ospreay versus Buddy Matthews, and of course Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale versus Toni Storm in that triple threat match. From SmackDown, the Fatal 4-Way: Bayley, Nia Jax, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. From New Japan's Battle in the Valley, the Sumie Sakai retirement match, her, Evil, and Sho versus Hiromu, Takahashi, Mayu, Iwatani, and Yuka Sakazaki. Konosuke Takeshita versus Kushida for the Never Openweight Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hechicero, and El Desperado versus Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And from Collision, Dan Garcia versus Katsuyori Shibata for the TNT Championship. Just great matches all around. Our stars of the week, even though the show was ass, I would give it to the WWE for their Netflix debut. And from NXT, Oba Femi and Giulia winning champions. Oba Femi is your new NXT champion, and Giulia is your new NXT Women's Champion. But that is our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen what we got coming up. It's gonna be a good week. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. I see you when I see you. Peace.